whenever you turn your fork, do your tires hit your feet? Whenever you
Sometimes.
turn, don't you hate that? And
Yeah.
it's so hard. It's so hard to weave, diba? When you weave through cars, kasi bumper to bumper, diba? It's hard to weave through cars because of your big tires.
I like that Carl is tugging at my experiences. Yes, I can relate.
Welcome to the Cycling Matters podcast, your weekly dose of discussions about our love for bike.
Bike.
Yay! So this podcast is brought to you in cooperation with Ciclo. Hello, I'm Karen.
And I'm Jan.
So in this episode, we talk to Carl Mamawal, one of the founders of Nyfti Inc, a company that produces what it calls full-size geometry bicycles. We ask him how Nyfti started, about the many iterations of the Raio bike, and what the Filipino-produced bike means for our local bike transport scene. But before everything else, do subscribe to the Cycling Matters podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or other podcast platforms. We release new episodes every Monday. Just search Cycling Matters, tap subscribe or follow, and enjoy the discussion. So hello, Carl. Thank you so much for joining us
Thanks
today.
for joining us.
Hi,
So,
thanks for having me.
so I guess just to start, could you just tell us a bit about yourself? Like what do you do and stuff?
Okay, so I'm one of the founders of Nyfti. We started it 2014. Right now, I'm double hatting. I have Nyfti and I also have a day job in
Okay.
e-commerce. Um, yeah, and the reason why I guess we started with Nyfti is my partner and I, Inco, are involved in we're involved in the solar car race. It's a global race around the world. That is compete that sorry, ulitin ko yung thought ko.
Go ahead.
So, Inco and I joined the World Solar Challenge. It's a race held in Australia where international universities compete. So
Okay.
that's when we started to learn. Oh, we can make things. We can compete internationally, make things that are competitive with people in the States, in Europe make. That's how the sort of mindset happened for us. Na, oh, let's start making more things. So, yun. So we're both engineers. He was my teacher in the university, and then now we're
Oh.
partners in Nifty.
Where did you take university?
Lasal.
Okay. So he was your prof.
He was my prof. Then,
Cool. Super cool.
and, yeah,
Nice one. Parang from the student teacher at to business partners.
yes, yes. So actually, sa kanya talaga yung design. Um,
Okay.
Siya yung, so there was a time we were working together on another project in Lasal. Tapos, hindi siya makasakay ng jeep. And then sabi niya, sige, maglalakad na lang ako. Nilakad niya. And then na-realize siya, ang bilisan pala ng lakad. And then, what if mag-bike kaya ako? That's
Mm.
when they started biking. I also started biking around mga 2011 as a hobby.
Okay.
And then
Cool.
we got started talking about it. And then he mentioned he was designing a bike for himself. At that time, kasi he was using a mountain bike. And then sabi niya masyado malaki for commute. He
Mhm.
was intrigued about surplus Japan surplus folding bikes.
Okay.
Ang dami niyang nakikita na sobrang mura. Tapos parang, parang convenient to na may folding bike siya. So he started researching about designs. He saw the Brompton, which is the British-made bike. Quite expensive.
Mhm.
But then, when he started looking at the design, he realized, oh, bakal lang pala tong frame na to, nothing special outside the fold. He and I, well, he's a master welder. Ako,
Oh, okay.
so lang. So he decided, okay, I can make a steel bike. It's not a problem for me. So yun, he started designing the bike. And
Wow, that's super
then,
cool.
yeah, sorry, I jumped into the backstory na ano.
No, that's totally fine. That's
Yeah.
super cool.
So
Ayun.
how long did it take from that initial conversation to having a prototype?
So, So during that time, I think that was September 2013, we had that conversation. By January, I told him, hey, Nico, I saw this parang design competition, business incubation program. So it
Mhm.
was idea space. I told him, sali kaya tayo. I-share lang natin yung mga ideas natin, whatnot, and then see what happens. So we shared 3 ideas to idea space. And then it was a folding bike that they liked. And so we were part of their cohort number 2 of 10 startups that they funded. And then
Okay.
I think we got the funding by, not sure if it was April or May.
Okay. Wait, sorry. You were saying something. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the funding, I think April or May. By June, we had the prototype already. So we had the orange Nyfti 16 prototype that we are testing already. So took about siguro mga from the time na natapos siya yung design to about our first prototype. It's about 6 months.
Oh, 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
Galing.
6 months.
Wow. Like, naisip ko 6 months. Like, si Duterte yung drug war. Okay, sorry. Not sure if that's appropriate, but it's good that you're able to accomplish that in 6 months.
It's just a bike, Karen. I mean, if you compare it to other bigger
Alien.
things.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, kasi
But
six
it's still
months.
impressive, no? 6 months, I mean, Raio in Cycling Matters, we've been here for 2 years, but we haven't built a bike, right?
Mm.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
to
impressed
be
with
fair, wala kaming engineering um,
background.
background. So, oh, but Carl, you mentioned that see your partner, like he was doing like mountain bike riding. Ikaw, like where do you do other kinds of riding or talagang you ride your folding bike?
I just stuck it with city riding.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I don't do mountain bike now. It's all just really city riding. So bike as a means of mobility, not as a sport anymore.
Okay. I see. So, do you have bikes that aren't nifty Raios?
I do. I do.
Like what kind of bike?
There's I do have a cruiser. I toyed around making it into a two-stroke gas-powered uh, sort of motorcycle na yung dating niya. But then I scrapped that. I said, I masyadong ingay and mabaho because of the gasolines. I'm like, I'm just gonna pedal. Um, we still do have our old Jap- Japan folding bikes. So that's how we started because it's a folding bikes. Eh. So our first prototype, we chopped up, I think, mga dalawang Japan folding bikes. And we used the parts of those frames as the hinges and joints of the
Mm-hmm.
first prototype. Other bikes, well, my mountain bike now is in my parents' house. I live in a condo now in Makati. I used to live in Muntinlupa.
Okay.
So now I just have space for holding bikes in the condo.
Gets. Okay.
So yun.
So, um, so you guys made Nifty. So, why specifically folding bikes?
I guess yun yung problem na nakita namin. So Inco wanted a compact folding bike like the Brompton. But the
Mm-hmm.
Brompton is like what, 70,000, right? And he's like, yun na nga, paka lang to and then parts and all. I can make this probably under 20,000 and then still have a very nice folding bike.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess also when we analyze the industry, that's where we can, given the skill set and the technology available to us, that's where we can be more competitive because the
Mm-hmm.
players there is just Brompton, Dehon, Turn. And
Yeah,
then if you look at like let's say road bikes, sobrang dami. It's hard
that's
to
true.
compete
That's
with
true.
brands in the road bike or mountain bike or um, even downhill category, right? So
Mm-hmm.
masyadong maraming players. And in terms of technology that they try to differentiate themselves, medyo mas tricky and mas mahal yung uh, production process na
Okay.
required. So like let's say if you want to do different shades of pagdating sa carbon bikes, right?
Mhm.
It's
Okay.
not about ngayon yung labanan is not about geometry. It's more about yung laminating technology, right?
Okay.
But at least for folding bikes, medyo mas mechanical, 'di ba? So mas madali siyang we can be more creative in how you fold a bike. So
Okay.
we saw na okay, this is where we can be competitive and has
Nice.
where we have the opportunity to uh, make something nice.
Yes. Yes.
So yun.
Agree.
So definitely mountain bikes is hard. City bikes is very basic yung design. And it's all
Mm-hmm.
about the marketing.
Yes.
Marketing na yung labanan eh. So in terms of technology, that's where we saw na where we can really be where we can add, I guess, add design, different designs or clever design. So
Cool.
yun. So we
Okay.
have the Nyfti 16, which was our first bike. It had 16-inch wheels and four folds in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
So one in the stem, two in front in the front triangle, and one in the
Mm-hmm.
rear. And then with Raio now, we changed the design and made it into a three-fold bike. So similar na to a Brompton. Um, so much easier to make, so much more rigid yung frame.
I
That's
see.
why we are able to make different iterations.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now wait, so wait, I'd like to apologize to our listeners for the random sounds earlier. For some reason, all the notifs are coming out, even if I turned on Do Not Disturb. But I just heard kanina, you mentioned Dehon. Yun yung ano, yun talaga yung pronunciation.
You know what? I'm not entirely sure.
Ah,
So it's a US company, so I say, okay, the US
oh,
Oh,
company.
wait, U.S. company. Wait, I always thought
It's
it was.
okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's a US company. I think the owner though, I think maybe is Japanese or Taiwanese. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh.
But it's
Kaya I
interesting
know,
how you I don't know how you shared to us the whole thought process about having yun nga ang unti lang pala ng competition. And
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I realized that na talagang when you're looking for a folding bike, unti lang yung options. And maganda na
yeah,
yung standard is Brompton talaga na you're trying to
Yes.
do something like Brompton but something more affordable. Is
yeah.
what I
So I think when we came in, we knew that okay, we're never gonna be able to compete with China, who churns out a lot of bikes, right? And if we with the scale that we have and the um, I guess tech that we have, it's really just aiming for the best and
Mm-hmm.
target a certain number of output. I mean, we're not there yet. So we're about what 6 years into this journey na we've
Mm-hmm.
realized it's gonna take a while for us to get to where we want to be. But the benchmark is there, Brompton is there, and that's what we're
Yes.
trying to be, right?
Nice. Super cool. I guess just before we delve deeper into like your nifty Rayo bikes, I guess I just have a bit of a light chat on what people can do with a folding bike. Like,
yeah.
uh,
So can you share with us some things you've done, perhaps on a folding bike that others, people who haven't used a folding bike don't know can be done with it?
Well, if you live in the city, that's really the best bike that you should get. Um, like go inside the mall, you don't need to park your bike. Ako, every time I
right.
go to, like, let's say, Glorieta, I stop in front of the guard and then I fold my bike in front of the guard. And the guard's like, always jaw drop. And it's like, he's gonna let me in. Kasi parang, okay, suitcase size lang siya eh. I mean, there's no problem, right?
Right. That's
Oh,
the
Saying
nga
that let
naman,
me
advantage.
in.
right.
So,
Right.
so it's always like that for me. And nakakatuwa kasi they're always asking, astig yung bike mo boss natutub eh.
Nice.
So there's that aspect always of with folding bikes. You don't have to worry about it getting stolen.
Yeah.
And you always have it with you. Kung if you're gonna go inside, kunwari a department store, iwan mo na lang sa package counter.
Okay.
So That's one of the great benefits of having a folding bike. Two, so if you bike to work, right, and then starts to rain,
Mhm.
and you don't want to bike in the rain, you just get a grab, and then you can go home, right?
Right.
Or take a bus, and then you can go home without any problems. At least your bike is still with you. You don't need to wait out the rain and then be stuck. Although ako kasi, when it starts to rain, when I'm going home, I just bike.
Right.
I just get
Yeah.
wet. So I don't care kasi. I mean, I'm used to getting wet.
Yeah.
Um,
Parang nandyan ka na eh. So,
kahit bumabaha, I'm fine. I don't put on a raincoat anymore. It doesn't make sense not to me kasi even if I had a raincoat while biking, basa pa rin ako ng pawis eh. So it's
Oh,
Yeah.
always like, bike na lang ako. So there are times that, so I was riding the Nyfti 16 and I was riding yung baha sa Buendia.
Mhm.
You know how bad it is there, diba? When it
Yeah.
rains really hard, baha talaga dun sa underpass. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna ride my Nyfti across this baha and I don't care. So pagdating ko lang sa condo, nilinis ko na lang siya. Tapos may
Nice.
mga plastic na nakasabit.
Oh my gosh.
Gears ko na kasi syempre, lumuluto na yung basura eh. But, I mean, for city living, really, it's a folding bike's the best bike you should get. What else have I done with my bike? I haven't taken it for a long ride, but I do have customers who have done it on their bikes. And even if it's a folding bike, it's still very capable. Kasi
Mhm.
yung gearing naman, we made it very ano ba, adaptable to how you want to use it. And even if it folds, the frame is very rigid. So that's how we designed it. Na ano talaga.
dami nga namin nakikita na nag-ODAX on folding bikes, like 200
Yeah,
kilometers, 300 kilometers.
yeah. So
It's interesting.
Audax is definitely no issue for the Raio.
Grabe.
Cool.
Galing.
Okay. Actually, okay, it's something, kaya rin ako curious to get a folding bike. I see
I think you
some
should. You
friends
really should.
set to, sorry?
I think you really should.
Yeah. Like, use it to bring their cargo. Like, you can, it's like, parang, it's almost natural that it has parang pannier rack at the back.
Yeah.
So, and I can see also that you've created racks for your Raio, which we can discuss later.
Sige.
Wait, out of curiosity, like what's the biggest load you've carried on your Nifty bike? If you
Mm,
remember.
most of the time, it's just me, my work bag, and then my bag for change of clothes.
Okay.
So, you would say siguro mga cargo-wise, mga 40 liters. So, just a
Okay.
backpack. But I do have like customers who are, so we designed the bike kasi 250 pounds
Mm-hmm.
yung rider weight.
Mm.
But you can also add like, let's say yung sa rear rack, you can add siguro mga 10 kilos.
Okay.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then front rack, we've not really tested.
Okay.
Nice.
Are
I
are
guess
you enabled? Are you being enabled, John?
so hyped.
Nice.
What kind of biking bud do you do, John?
well, right now
Or,
I'm using a road bike, and I use it to commute almost every day. Well, prior to COVID. Um, so
whenever you turn your fork ba, do your tires hit your feet
whenever, yeah,
whenever you
sometimes.
turn? Don't you hate that? And that
Yeah.
it's so hard. It's so hard to weave, 'di ba? When you weave through cars, kasi bumper to bumper, 'di ba? It's
Right.
hard to weave through cars because of your big tires.
I like that Carl is tugging at my experiences. Like, yeah, yes, I can relate. Exactly.
Ayun. So if you have a 20-inch tire, sobrang dali mag-maneuver pag
Oh,
bumper to bumper.
right.
Sobrang dali.
And I really want to go bimodal kasi. So, and other than bimodal, wala na, hindi na kasya sa condo rin yung like full-size bike. So, logically, it would be a folding bike next. But I guess it's time na, no? We can move forward with, the details of
Yes.
Nyfti. And I was wondering, where do you build your bikes?
So we make them in Manila. It's in our garage, yung garage ni Inko sa parents' house niya sa Manila.
Oh, so ano pa, parang home office, home business pa kayo right now?
Yep.
And would you
So,
mind sharing with us like how many bikes you've pushed out from that humble location?
we've pushed about, I think, close to 400 bikes already
Wow.
Wow.
since we
400.
started in 2014. Yeah,
And
close to that number.
Nice.
that's 400 less cars on the road.
Well, I hope they're using it.
Yeah,
They're using
hopefully
it.
they're using it regularly. But that's really nice. So, and then to think
Yeah,
that it's still at home. And do you have plans to like have a different facility to build more bikes?
I definitely. We're just always building up yung brand. I mean,
Mhm.
well, there's always the demand. So if there are more people who want their bikes, definitely you wanna be able to supply that. So we're in the stage of trying to figure out how do we scale. Because right now it's a garage setup, and I don't see it working that way for a long time na parang ganyan lang kami. I want syempre to
Yeah,
make it bigger.
it's so cool.
But
Yeah.
right now kasi, so Inko has a family. I just got married.
Oh.
And what we do with Nifty isn't enough to syempre sustain the life that we want. So that's why it's like our side thing. But we have a lot of commitment in making it grow, making it as our baby, and then see it progress little by little each year
Nice.
without having to sacrifice yung comfort ng families namin.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why we're double hatting. Um,
You're taking your pace, your own pace. That's nice.
yeah, so but definitely want to be able to sell more. There are people who have approached us, like let's say, distribute the bikes in UK, in the US, in Japan as well, in
Mhm.
the Middle East. But we're just not ready kasi to spend a lot of money
Mhm.
in tooling and I think also the quality of the bikes that we make. I think we have a decent quality, but um, it's not like may mga small things on the frame that I want to change para when they see it outside, sobrang ganda talaga ng dating sa akin.
Nice.
So, wala pa kami sa stage na yun. So,
Oh,
unti-unti, we're slowly getting there.
But yeah, getting there, getting there.
it's so nice that
Yeah.
this is locally produced. Unlike I mean, I see a lot of local brands popping up na produced elsewhere, and then they just import it
Yeah.
here. They order it from Taiwan or China. It's really nice that you're actually producing these locally and even at home. All right. Now, can you tell us a bit more about the Raio? How many iterations have there been getting to the current version?
So we have version 1, version 2. For version 1, we had 4 prototypes. For version 2, we had 3 prototypes. If I remember correctly, 2016 namin stinart yung version 1.
Okay.
And then 2018 yung version 2. So we do about siguro mga 4 prototypes, 4 to 5 prototypes each bike. So that we're sort of comfortable na parang, okay, pwede na natin pag ito sa public.
Oh, okay.
You know, our very first Nyfti 16 prototype was very rideable. Like, we enjoyed riding it, and it was fun. It took us, I was able to take it to Davao. I was able to take it around, where else did I take it? I think I've taken it abroad also one time. But second, third, and fourth prototype namin ng Nyfti 16 were unrideable. Terrible, terrible. So parang, that's why we always spend at least 5 prototypes for each
Right.
design that we make.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Really experimenting. Now, how did you arrive at the name Rayo? What inspired that name?
That time we had a bit of money and we were really terrible at branding. And so we got an agency. It was
Mm.
a branding agency that helped us out um, to name the bike. And we were also actually thinking of launching a crowdfunding campaign at that time.
Mm.
Okay.
So we also got help from that agency. And but the campaign never happened. The Raio name stuck. I think Raio is lightning in Portuguese. I think yun ang sinabi nila.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
So
Portuguese.
that's why we I mean we didn't know it at that time, but we sort of like the sound and how it you know madali lang siya sabihin eh. Diba?
Yeah.
Parang,
Right, right. Oo nga. Maganda nga yung tunog niya. Now, when it comes to the technical aspects of the Raio, can you walk us through the production process and how
sige.
you were able to design and develop
So
these?
production wise, we make it in Manila using TIG welding process. So we have the tubes. We get the tubes from Cavite. There's a tube manufacturer there that supplies to the motorcycle industry. And good
Mhm.
thing that they're there. So we're able to source us the tubes, very nice Japan quality tubes from them. So we just cut them to size in our workshop, and then we have our welding jigs set up as well, so
Mhm.
that it's easier for our welder to just piece together the bikes and churn it out consistently na hindi gumagalaw, wala masyadong deviation. So yun. So the frame material is high tensile steel. Um, so you would consider it as entry level steel because there's a higher level na chromoly, which
Right.
we also tested using. But the problem with chromoly is ang hirap kunin dito eh. Hirap makuha dito. So we imported those from the States pa. And then we said, okay, yung weight difference is not significant. The
Right.
strength difference is also not significant. And so we just stuck it with the Japan standard tubes that we have. Um, so yun, each frame that we make is tagged with a number so that we always know who the frame goes to. And if there are issues with the frame, you can always trace it. Kasi we commit to our customers na lifetime warranty yan.
Oh,
So since we
nice.
make it, we make it here, yung lifetime warranty, it's for manufacturing defects. So,
Right. Right. Of
if
course. Of course.
you can, so, yun. So since we make it here and it's steel and it's very easy to repair,
Mhm.
we're comfortable to give that assurance to our customers.
So even the current steel that you use for the bike is produced locally also.
Yes.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Now,
So ano siya? I guess that's it. Yeah.
okay. This is something that I know I personally don't. I'm not very versed with. But like, how do you do sizing when it comes to folding bikes?
Um, Sizing kasi for folding bikes is it's just not there, non-existent. Kasi I mean, there's already a compromise that the frame folds eh.
Right.
And like the seat tube, it's all different angles
Mm-hmm.
for other folding bikes, and they're always just not the same. So riding a folding bike, if you were to consider your ideal riding position, it's just really having the handlebar in a comfortable height,
Yeah.
seat post just enough so that your legs are not overly stretched or nakakrumple yung knees mo. Um, we designed the Rayo to be comfortable enough for people who are below 4 feet and
Mm-hmm.
also something that a 6-footer can ride as well. So it's really because of the adjustable yung height ng seat post,
Right.
and then yung handlebar is telescopic. So you can
Yeah.
adjust it also. So yun yung mga main
Pala yung range.
considerations mo. But then kasi if you're riding a folding bike, it's really designed that you do like what? If you bike commute, it's about 30 minutes to an hour or at most 2 hours. Um, so yun yung trade-off for riding a folding bike.
Okay. Now we're gonna nerd out a bit for this question. Like, what kind of BB shell do you use for the bottom bracket shell? Do you use for the Raio?
Okay, so here's the thing, yung si Inco ang mas may kabisado ng standards ng
Okay.
BB shell. So, what we use is a threaded BB shell
Mhm.
that I'm not sure is what it's called. I should have reviewed. I saw it in the questions, but I didn't get to review. It's a standard. It's the most standard BB shell design there is.
Okay, threaded BB shell for our
Yeah.
nerdy listeners out there.
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's fine. It's
Hindi
fine.
ako
Don't worry
nag-review.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's zoom out a bit now. Now that we've talked about some of the technical aspects, let's talk about folding bikes and bike transport. Do you see that folding bikes have an integral role in local bike transport? Do you see your bikes out there being used for commuting?
Definitely. Folding bikes offer great versatility if you're using it for commute. So like I mentioned earlier, you can do bimodal.
Mhm.
Will our bikes play a big role? I hope so. For those, I wouldn't say our bike is cheap, right? But there are some of our customers who use it for commute, and I'm happy that they use it for commute. But in general, bikes, adapting bikes now is good for us and good for the community and good for everyone in Metro Manila, right? Not just the bikers, but also the motorists as well, diba?
Right.
They don't realize it. Oh, that's one less car
Yeah.
that's taking my space, right? Um, and I mean, hopefully they realize also, oh, I could just really bike with all the infrastructure that hopefully they're putting up, right? Na,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ano, um, and then if it's just my bikes, I don't think it's a collective. So all the bike shops, all the other brands that bring in bikes, all the more that they bring it in, I think it's gonna help me as well um, with my sales. So I don't think na okay kami lang, diba?
Yeah.
Hindi, we're not that big to create that big a dent, but we can contribute, right? So definitely folding bikes, but will help with bikes in general talaga.
Mm.
That's where we start. And then people start to think, oh, I have a different need for my bike. And ito, oh, a folding bike solves that.
Right. And it's also nice that while you're building towards your goals, you're also employing Filipinos locally
Yeah.
along the way. They're growing.
Definitely.
Now, what's next for Nyfti? A new version, a new next to Raio rack
No, so
options.
so right now, we're working. So our problem right now, because of COVID, is supply chain of our parts. So that's
Mhm.
why we can't
Yeah.
assemble complete bikes right now. So we're making racks. So
Mm.
right now we have a pizza rack that's adaptable to all 20-inch bikes. We'll iterate that so it can fit 26, 650B, 700C, 27.5, and even 29ers. Pwede
Mm.
yung rack na yun.
Nice.
Um, so we'll work on making a few rack designs as well. Not just for the Rayo, but for everyone.
Mm.
Because what I see is people need it,
Yeah.
people want it, and
Yeah.
bike shops also are running out of stock. So that's
Actually,
where
sorry to interrupt, but
so
I need a rack. So I've been
Yeah.
it's part of my cycling resolutions to have a rack so I can actually bring
yeah,
cargo on my bike. So it's nice to
yeah,
know I have an option. Sorry, I just had to
yeah.
say.
So we have a few prototypes now, and yung first production namin, hopefully by this Saturday, mapadala na namin for
Ooh,
paint.
nice.
So yun, we will start first with the 20-inch and move from there. You just realize, oh, we make racks already for the Rayo as a standard feature.
Right, might
Why
as
don't
well.
we make? We might as well
Yeah.
make for others.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. In terms of the Rayo itself, um, I want to be able to start offering it because we are getting international orders na but we really haven't prepared it for shipping internationally.
Mm.
So I want to be able to make an iteration of the Rayo that is easier to ship as a frame set. So
Mm.
I want to build that. I want to have the forks, the folding stem, and the seat post. Ito kasi we order from China as well. We don't make these things. I want to
Mm.
be able to have these ready enough so that I can start selling and sending the frame sets to our customers abroad. That's one of the things that we're working on this year.
Okay.
But
Is there
design
any
wise, the Rayo is where we want it to be.
nice? Cool. Now, is there any chance that in the future you would have an electric version
We
of a phone?
actually we've made electric versions already of the 16 and the Rayo.
Oh.
Okay.
So we have those. The Rayo really was when we designed it. We made sure that there were compartments to put mga ano, like let's say yung motor controller, yung battery.
Mhm.
Meron
Mm.
talagang place in the Rayo. Um, but the problem kasi with going electric, the components are so expensive.
Right.
And if you buy a kit, um, kahit front drive lang siya, you're gonna spend like 25,000.
Oh.
But
Okay.
bikes from China that they sell here na electric sell for like 30,000.
Oh.
So parang presyo, talo ka na.
Right.
There's no yung offering ng conversion only if you really want that specific bike to be electric. But it looks so much more cheaper to just buy a bike. Like, let's say si Trinks, diba? Trinks brought in bikes here na
Yeah.
electric. Parang mas madali pang bumili na lang nung bike niya kaysa
Mm.
magpa-convert ka ba.
Okay.
So, that's why I don't suggest yung conversion. Uh, one, primarily because of the price. Two, the battery that you're gonna get is hand-built here and wala kang warranty.
Mm.
So yun. Um, and like, batteries will last you 2 years and then wala na siya.
Oh. Okay.
Awesome.
So ganun.
Interesting. Now, how about the cargo version?
Um, we've done a few cargo bikes before. We have, when there was a time I was delivering Nyfti 16s using a cargo bike.
Uy.
Um, we still do have a cargo bike frame in the shop. But ngayon hindi namin focus eh.
Right.
So what I was thinking is that the Rayo actually can. So I'm thinking now, since we are starting to make racks, I'm gonna make a rack for the Rayo that's big enough to fit another Rayo when it's folded.
Oh,
So para Rayo on
Oh,
Rayo, diba? So when I deliver, yun na.
galing. Nice.
Um,
that makes sense.
that's what I'm thinking now. Cargo bike kasi, what I've um, realized while using them in Metro Manila is um, it's the space where you
Mm.
put your bike afterwards.
Right.
Ako,
Mm.
I live in a condo, right? I have to leave the bike sa basement. There was a time pinagbawal yung bike sa basement. But wala
Ah.
na akong choice.
Okay.
Um, those who have space naman, I'm part of the Cargo Bike Philippines group also. Um, they have a lot of space. That's why they're pushing for cargo bikes. They're
Mm.
right now with the kind of lifestyle and our focus as well. We don't want to step into cargo bikes again.
Okay.
We
Okay.
might, since we're making frames now. Um, I did sell one time a frame to a Malaysian who brought our cargo bike to Malaysia kasi wala siyang mabili. But
Nice.
other than that, no, no plans muna.
Okay.
Cargo
Okay.
options for the
Cargo off.
bike. Yeah.
All right, all right.
Nice.
Okay. I am properly hyped. And before we end, this is your chance, Carl, to hype up our listeners. How can people buy their bikes? How can they contact you? Let our
Yeah.
listeners know.
Just get in touch in our Facebook page. It's Nyfti. You spell it Nyfti. So baliktad siya. Don't
Yes.
forget. And just message us there. Right now, we don't have stock of bikes. Naubos na siya.
Okay.
And but we do have our frame options only. So if
Okay.
you want to get a frame, we can sort that out. We hopefully by August we have full bikes ready.
All right.
So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram as well.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Carl. I'll
Exciting.
get in touch with
Right.
you.
So thank you so much again, Carl, for your time to tell us more
Yeah.
about Nyfti bikes.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So that ends our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the Cycling Matters podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you can find podcasts. Our episodes are the next best thing to riding your bike on a Monday. Just search Cycling Matters on your favorite podcast platform while maybe brewing your morning coffee or tea. Put on some earphones and enjoy the discussion. You can catch more of Cycling Matters on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, or on our website at cyclingmatters.ph. So thanks so much again for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Cycling Matters podcast. Until then, stay safe and ride safe, Philippines. Bye!